Okay, everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to today's class. I'm glad to have you here once again. So, this will be the last video in our Excel series. Please take your time to uh, play with all of these things one after the other. Please take your time, look at them, just familiarize yourself with them. So, maybe at a later time, we can look at a more detailed Excel just for probably office use or something. But all you need to know for data analytics class has been covered and a few more will be covered. So I realized that in my previous videos, I've skipped a few things like removing duplicate functions, an example of functions, some of the functions I skip if some if. Right, so we'll move very fast into this lesson. All right, so these are some of the things I've been doing. So I'll just go ahead and delete this from. I'll delete this and I'll leave the first. I'll delete this and I'll leave the first. Okay, so when it's time for me to work on it, I'm going to as well delete the rest. Okay, so now what will be in yours should be retention value. Right, so I'll be using the car sales data for this class, car sales data. There are two car sales data. There is car sales data by model. It's not that, it's this empty one. All right. Okay, so let's dive into the class. All right, so there are times that, okay, so there are times that you ask yourself some question, how do I do this, how do I do that? An example of those questions is if you have 1,000 lines or 10,000 lines of car models, maybe Toyota. This is Ford. We're currently looking at Ford. I like Ford Mustang and Ford Explorer. These are the two favorite brands of model of Fords I like, but that's not what we are here to discuss. Okay, so you want to buy a car, and in a place like Nigeria, what you first consider is second-hand value. So I think I'll change my retention value to second-hand value because that's what we are familiar with in Nigeria. When you're buying a car, the first thing you're considering, or one of the things you consider, is what is the second-hand value of this car I'm buying, so that when I'll be reselling, would I get a good amount for this car? And now you have 10,000 lines of this. You want to just quickly sort which car has a good second-hand value, which car doesn't have a good second-hand value. How do you do that? You just set some basic metrics for yourself. For example, you can use percentage, you can use price, you can use year resale, whatever you like. It does not it's not limited to car value. You can use it for many case for so many other case scenarios, like you want to know which of your uh, client is performing well, or your employee, so many things, or your products. All right, so now I'm going to write a conditional statement, and this is an example of conditional statement. So I'm going to delete this. So I call them conditional statement. It is conditional because one or two things are attached to it. For example, you can tell your child, if you don't see me by 2 p.m., boil rice. All right, there is a condition that if she or she doesn't see you by 2 p.m., you should go ahead to boil rice. So we'll look at conditional statement here. Now, let's generate our statement. So what is the statement from this? Let's say that every car that is less than 62%, every car that is less than 62% is what has a poor second hand value. While every car that has above 64, every car, so let's just leave that. is because there are just two conditions. Anyone less than 62% has poor value. Invariably, anyone that has more than 62% has a good value. So how do we do that? We use the if statement. If we start with equals to, if you open your bracket, don't forget whenever you open a function, you follow with bracket. So we test the first line, which is G2. Now this is formatted as percentage, this is 62%. So I'm going to use if G2 is less than 62%, comma, then what should happen? You say that it is what? Poor. You put that poor, your response, in a quote, comma, that's the first response. The second response is automatically what? Yes or good. So I'm going to use good. That means if my car value is more than 62%, then it has good second round value. Go ahead and close the bracket. You press enter, then you run it. Okay, so what we have here is poor, 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 poor. So why are we having poor, 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 poor? Alright. So if G2 is less than or equals to, I think that should be the, if, okay, this is just 62. I see the problem. Alright, this is supposed to, so we know this is 62%, there's a percentage there. So it has to carry that percent, if 62. Okay, then we can rerun the formula. So you can see good, poor, 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 good, poor, poor. However, there's something you need to know. There's something we call an inclusive statement. So this is supposed to be if it's less than or equal to 62%. Less than or equal to 62%, you say that is what? Poor. You can see 64, good, 70, good, 62, poor, 65, good. Alright. So there's something I also need to introduce to you, which we call the conditional formatting. Alright, so let's just quickly do this. Alright, you can come here and say, what do we want to do? Maybe we should put color. You can just set a new rule. So I want to set a new rule now. Yeah, I want to set a new rule. New rule. And so what is my rule? Now there are rules here that you can use. Format all cells based on their values, based on cells that contain what, based on rank, based on volume, based on formula. But for this class I'll be using format only cells that contains what. So what I want to do is that I'm interested in the good, so I want to highlight all the good. So we are formatting the cell value, and then no, not between, where that is equal to, yes, it can be between. Alright, so that is equal to good. Now when you click on format, it asks you what do you want to format. Do you want to make it bold? Yes. Do you want to add color to it? If you want to add color, you come to fill. I make it color green. I fill it color green and press OK, and I press OK. Alright, so I'm going to run the formula. So when I run it, can you see all the good became what? Green automatically. That's what we use conditional statement for. You can pause it, rewind it, and try some other things. Alright, so there are several things you can do with conditional. If you want poor to show red, just follow the principle that I use. Alright, so that's for that. Now what someone asked in the physical class that what if you have three conditions? This is just two conditions, poor and good. So what if you have three conditions? So I'm going to be doing the three conditions using the if nested into multiple times. Alright. So what I did here is, now let me first establish the condition. Now I'll be using this save value that okay, every car that the sale price is higher than 40,000 should say that what? Should say that it is maybe we should use I this time. I, any car, let me remember, okay, that is 10,000, that is greater than 10,000 should say that what? Moderate, and anyone that is not up to 10,000, so I think I'm going to use 0 for that, it's going to be poor. So that's 0 to, do you understand the logic now? What I just did here is 0 to 10,000, 10,000 to 40. That's what I've just done. All right. So now, if F2 is greater than 40,000, you say I. Let me change this. I use change I. You close the response, comma, then you start another condition again, which is the second condition. Second condition is what? If F2 is higher than 10,000, you say what? Moderate. Moderate. And if it is from 0 to 10,000, you say that what? Say that is poor. Then you notice something at the end, you have three parentheses close because you have first open bracket, second open bracket, and the third open bracket. So that means you close 1, 2, 3, one for each. So you have three conditional statements. One, but notice from the second one, it doesn't carry equal to because you already have the equal to here. So you just have if 1, if 2, and if 3. So you run your formula. Now you can see poor, high, moderate. So we have three responses, 1, 2, 3. So you can also use conditional formatting for this. Come here, come to the first one, conditional format. Let's say that, what should we highlight this time? Should we still highlight the I, or do you want us to highlight the moderate? Let's go ahead and highlight the I. I'm interested in the I. Maybe this time we'll use red. Conditional format, new rule, and say format only cells that contains what? Now you are formatting the cell value. Now you have between, so this between is for if you are using number. For example, if you are saying between 62% and if you say 60, maybe let's just try the 2. Okay, now we can't format this place because this place is not percent, so let's use this one instead. So let's say you are formatting that cells that contain 62, no, let's say 65%, 65% and 70%. So you click on format, then it asks you what you want to do. All right, so you can make it and just give it color. There's background color. Let me give it background color of blue and give it font color of yellow. Okay, this is fill. All right, so that means it has to be just one. Okay, so background color of blue. Alright. So click on OK, then you click on OK. So then you run the formula. Oh, what did I do? I didn't put in the formula there. Okay, I formatted this place as percentage already. Okay, so let me just go ahead and use this one. Alright, that has no, yeah. So I'm using that is equal to, what? Now what word are we looking for? That is equal to I, yes. Format, let me just change it to orange. Click on OK, press this, and I run the formula. Yeah. So this one has formula. Now you can see if you have any I here too, let me just type I there and run the formula again. False, because there is no condition here. Alright, so but that's how it works. You can try it out on some other things. Okay, that's that about that. Let me not waste time. So we have done the if. Alright, so this, maybe I should talk about it or maybe I shouldn't. This only works if you are using Excel 2019 and above. So I really don't like to worry myself about it. So I just do it this way. But for the sake of knowledge, let's just, for the sake of knowledge, let's just do it. What was that? What was that? What was that? Okay, if s. Alright, so this would now be if, now you, this will now, you remove all the if, you remove all the if and the bracket. So it just carries one bracket, but it doesn't work in any Excel below 2019. So that's why I don't bother myself about it. Alright, so we have done that. Okay, so now let's do sum if. Yes, someone also asked me this question that, okay, so let's assume I want to do addition for uh, every car that is less than 10,000. I want to know how much the total of those cars. Normally you run the formula either by doing auto sum, or you use the, either by using the auto sum, or you use the single or the reference method, or you use one after the other. So but what if in a case where you want to do this and this and this, you know what you want actually. So me, I want to do all the ones less than 8,000. So I just run the formula. Let me do it here, or let me do it by the side. Insert, so I'll say less than 10k. So alright, so we use the sum if. Now the sum if is similar to the way we did uh, the the second hand value and the rest. Now look at this. I said it should sum, let me do it here, should equals to sum if what? If this value, right, is less than 10,000. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm supposed to sum your range. Your sum is from top to bottom. Sum equal to, yes. Yes, comma, if yes is less than 10,000. If it's less than 10,000. Now this is showing 0. This is showing 0 because it's not less than 10,000. Let me bring it down. I'm not supposed to have. Okay, let me remove the referencing and just do it the way I did this. But ideally, there are no arguments for this. Okay, what argument did I use? Right? This I said sum if, let me run the formula. Okay, yeah, this works as expected. Alright, sum if is less than, is it less than? Okay, I didn't put less than. Alright, less than or equals to 10,000. Okay, alright, okay, I think this is what I want. Alright, so now it has brought those values that are less than 10,000. So all I just need to do is now do my auto sum and press enter. There are other ways you do these things, but I like to use approach that will not confuse me rather. Okay, I think that's that about that. Alright, so now we need to learn how to remove duplicate. Alright, so please know that when you are removing duplicate, you need to understand that if I have something like this, let me copy this, and I have it, let me just copy it, come and insert it in this line. Alright, please note that if I have this and the engine size is 3, please note that this is no longer a duplicate, right? Yes, the name is escort, Ford, vehicle, sales. Now that is if my criteria for removing duplicate is engine size. If my criteria for removing duplicate is unit sales, then you can see that this and this are the same. So, but you can have 10 cars, right, or 10 things that will have the same unit rate. Alright, so when you are doing duplicate, please be very careful about the metrics you use in selecting your duplicate. Right, so it has to be very unique value. You can't use this for duplicate, you can't use. So as far as this is concerned, this is not a duplicate because the engine size is 3 and this engine size is 2. Just like you can have plenty Divisar Taiwo in one state, the same age, but maybe probably different date of birth. You can even have some with the same date of birth, and maybe what will be different will be skin color. Alright, so please be careful when you are choosing duplicate. Now let's go with this. Now you highlight your files and come to data. Now when you come to data, you see this icon that has, in some Excel you will see remove duplicate, but probably because I use a smaller screen, that is why. So you need to know the icon. I've always said it at every point in time. Please know the names of your icon. Alright, so for removing duplicate, it has 2 bars side by side. Alright, so you click on remove duplicate. Now please, when you are doing this also, this is very important. My data as header. Yes, my data as header, because the headers are model, manufacturer, vehicle type, unit sales price, less than this and blah blah blah. Right. So when you do this, you can uniquely select the metric you want. So now we are using engine size. No, not engine size now. Maybe because in engine size I have two. Okay, let's do it. So let's see what happens with these two and this two. All right. So I'm using, okay, yeah, I have column K. What? Six duplicate values were removed. So anything that has, can you see two, the other two is gone, the other three is gone. All right. So that's because I have three here, 4.6, 4.6. So every other value will go. All right. So that's how to remove duplicate. So when you are removing duplicate, please be very careful. So for example, now these models are unique. All right. So you have Escort, Mustang, Escort. So now if I remove duplicate with this, if I try to remove duplicate with this model, you'll see that what I will have will be, that's column A, all right, and my data as headers. Can you see one duplicate value, which is that one I created? All right, so it's that simple. I think that will be all for this class. All right. Okay, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your patience. Thank you for sticking through. See you in the next one. We'll be looking at Cognos Analytics software for dashboard. Bye. See you in the next one.